Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel of Conscious History, where we will unveil the hidden truths of the past.
When you think about siege warfare, you imagine a military commander shouting catapults. Siege towers filled with warriors are moving towards the enemy, ready to cause death and destruction. Trebuchets are firing big rocks, ballistas shooting large bolts or arrows, and finally the battering ram, which came in various shapes and forms, but all had the same purpose: to damage the gate and walls and breach the fortress. In this video, we will dive into the world of adrenaline-pumping, exciting siege weapons and explore how the genius war mind of Archimedes created some of the most spectacular defensive weapons in siege history. If you like historical sieges, like and subscribe to our channel or support us at conscioushistory.backme.org. And let's go to war and experience the excitement of discovering what lies behind the gate after it's been breached. During the Second Punic War, a Roman fleet besieged the city of Syracuse in Sicily because they were on the side of Carthage. In dark and troubled times, the people of Syracuse found a light in Archimedes, one of the greatest mathematicians and physicists of all time. For his people, he would use his genius mind to design the weaponry they needed. Even though the sources were limited, one of the most famous weapons he made was the claw, otherwise known as the Snatcher or the Iron Hand. It was described as a crane equipped with a grappling hook that could drop and partly submerge an attacking ship into the water, then either cause the ship to capsize or suddenly release it altogether. This device was deployed onto enemy ships, grabbing and dropping them near defensive forces, enabling their destruction. This attack, together with the use of catapults, also devised by Archimedes, which could fire larger rocks than usual, led to total domination on the battlefield. Then there are rumors about weapons envisioned by the genius mind of Archimedes. The first was named Heat Ray, also known as Death Ray. The other one is the Steam Cannon, where enemies were sprayed with burning steam. The Death Ray consisted of a series of mirrors that reflected concentrated sunlight onto Roman ships. The ships were moored within bow and arrow range, and according to legend, the Roman ships were burned by the collective condensed sunlight. Ship after ship in the Roman fleet caught fire and sank in the Mediterranean because of the intense heat of the Death Ray. Archimedes ended his life in a unique fashion. When a Roman soldier was sent to his home to capture him, he was busy in determining a geometry proof. When the soldier told him to surrender or he would die, Archimedes' final words were, "Do not disturb my diagrams," showcasing that basic minds could not fully understand the genius ones. This made him unforgettable and a father figure when it came to ancient siege weapons, causing his legacy to extend to an unprecedented height. When talking about height, we must delve into the Helepolis, the Greek term for a movable siege tower, a large, tapered tower that was rectangular with 4 wheels, allowing archers or crossbowmen to stand on top of the tower and shoot arrows. The largest siege tower could reach up to 131 feet in height, with some even featuring 9 stories, accommodating soldiers, catapults, and ballistas. When a siege tower approached a wall, it would drop a gangplank between it and the wall. Troops could then rush onto the walls and into the castle or city. Some siege towers even had battering rams that they will use to bash down the defensive walls around the city or castle gate. One of the most creative, innovative uses of siege towers was when they were placed on boats to surprise the enemy by approaching walls from the water. Talking about not so pleasant surprises, we go to a period in history when the Vikings laid siege to Chester. In this siege, they used wooden coverings called hurdles to shield themselves from the defenders' thrown weapons as they attempted to breach the walls. However, they didn't expect the clever ideas of the citizens. Initially, the citizens took all the beer in the city, boiled it, and poured it onto the Vikings. Despite some Vikings wearing animal hides to avoid burns, the grand finale awaited. The citizens had also gathered all the beehives from the countryside and hurled them down on the Vikings, causing such a swarm of stings that the Vikings abandoned the siege. Another crazy tactic took place with a man we all know, Alexander the Great, when he and his Macedonian army laid siege to the Phoenician city of Tyre. The Phoenicians, aware of Alexander's reputation and his powerful army, came up with a weapon to secure victory by any means necessary. They heated fine sand in enormous shallow bronze bowls, then either poured or catapulted the burning sand over Alexander's soldiers. This phenomenon was seen as a rain of death, causing insane damage on the battlefield. Alexander witnessed how his men endured this torture and personally took part in the attack on the city, fighting from on top of a siege tower. After the army tested the wall at various points with their rams, they finally made a breach in the south end of the island. Once his troops forced their way into the city, they easily overtook the garrison and quickly captured it. Many of Alexander's soldiers wanted redemption, resulting in the crucifixion of many Tyrians. Let's end this video with a bang. The trebuchet was a masterpiece in medieval warfare. During the Siege of Stirling Castle, King Edward I of England created the largest recorded trebuchet named the Warwolf. The Scottish garrison offered to surrender even before it was ready, fearing its destructive power. However, Edward refused to accept the surrender just so he could test his masterpiece. Sieges always become more lethal and dangerous when one element is added: fire. Just like the fire arrows, when the arrow or bolt usually had a flammable material attached to the tip, fire infused fear in enemies. At the Siege of Antwerp in 1585, the Italian military engineer Federigo Giambelli unleashed a fearsome new weapon of war that sends shockwaves throughout Europe, nicknamed Hellburners. Some have referred to these floating bombs as the world's first weapons of mass destruction. 2 large ships, each over 60 tons, were converted for this purpose. Over 3 tons of gunpowder were placed in the hold of each ship, and a clockwork detonator was created. The explosion of one Hellburner was said to have killed over 1,000 troops and created a hole wide enough to enable the fleet to sail in. These floating bombs infused fear in the hearts of many people, knowing that within a second all a villager would see was fire and ashes. Have you heard of the Hellburners or the Warwolf? What did you think of the fact that the people of Chester gathered all the beehives from around the countryside? Or the fact that King Edward I of England didn't care about his enemies surrendering just so he could test his Warwolf? Leave me your answers below in the comments, and if you enjoy siege warfare as much as we do, like and subscribe to our channel or support us at conscioushistory.backme.org. We love making in-depth history videos. See you next time at Conscious History.